At every level, it doesn't matter whether it's a major league player or a young amateur. When you're able to see a player improve, gain self-confidence and self-esteem from their work, it's very satisfying. Probably no different than a teacher being able to see a student finally handle a tough concept, grasp something they couldn't do before, now they can do it. So it's always very satisfying to see growth. Well, what we have to do is we have to look at, the whole process. Every player is different. Every player gains information, retains information, processes information differently. So if a player is struggling at some aspect of the game, whether hitting, throwing, fielding, running, whatever the case may be, and they're working through some of the the basic moves you're trying to get them to do, and if they're not getting better, then we have to kind of sit back and reset and say, what are we doing wrong that he's not getting it, or she? What we have to present it in a different way, because obviously the things we're doing aren't getting through. Obviously we have to also consider overall athleticism. But generally speaking, even the amateurs, sometimes we just need to get the body to work right. And maybe because they don't move right, it's difficult for them to make adjustments. They're running, throwing. We have to look and see, is the body in the right place? So rather than worry about the skill, worry about how limber is the body, how loose is the body, how's everything working, and then push them forward into a skill set. I think one of the things I see here in America is very often we put the player into skills. Let's learn how to throw a ball. Yeah, rather than let's see how you move. Let's go through motions. Let's get the body working together. Let's get the sequences working. Because a lot of times if you take a child and say, throw a ball, and the object is I have to make sure the ball gets to my dad or my mom, they're going to affect the result any way they can. So some of them will throw it very nicely. Others are just whatever it takes. So they'll develop habits and body moves based on the result of getting the ball there, no matter how we need to do it. Rather than, let's start sequencing the body. Let's run up and down some hills. Let's get some moves going. Let's get the body to actually work together, to sync up, to synergize, in order to make sure that it's working fundamentally right, because the body can work a lot of different ways. And if we start, getting used to throwing improperly early, it means we're going to have to break down the mind and the body, because it's got an ingrained movement pattern. So what we need to do then is we have to start over. But most people work over starting over with the throw. Let's start, and I say, no, let's get the body to work better. And a lot of times the legs and the top half don't work well together. And you see, for instance, throwing, a lot of children will throw this way. They'll spin the upper body, trying to let the body drag the arm around, so they never have their legs. So they learn that sequence, and trying to get them in their legs where they can throw is a challenge. At the amateur level, I think anybody can develop, but there is that question whether or not there's enough athleticism that can be brought out. I believe every body can be adjusted, but you have to get it early. We start getting movement patterns the minute we're crawling on the ground. You may have seen children that are 2 or 3 years old and they're able to throw and do things, where you've got kids at 5 or 6 and they don't know what to do, because there's differences in where they're at on that curve of athleticism or early coordination. So it's a fight to make sure the body is synchronized and that we're moving in a more or less coordinated fashion. But if we don't address that, then we can't really put the skill set in that's going to work, because they're going to use what they think about the skill set, what we try to teach them. They're not working from a good foundation. So a lot of times we have to put that foundation first at every age. and say, okay, if we're not moving right, if somebody's not doing something well, we've got to know what's the body, what is it about the body that's not allowing that.